What's up, everyone? Locks here, out on the remote property. Happy Father's Day. Beautiful windy Sunday. It's always windy when I'm trying to do something that wind will destroy. Wanted to show you my little baby. Let's come back up. See if I can get it out of the water. Thinks that I'm trying to feed it, which isn't really a good thing, but I don't feed it. It's just a rock. Cute little 3-footer. There's a little 4-footer in here too that have made home here. They've been here for a few months. So when they stick their tail up, they're gonna lunge. Be around when they lunge. So usually alligators will be able to lunge about the length of their body, so 3-footer will be able to lunge pretty quickly, about 3-4 foot. They don't run very fast once they're on land, but when they get that initial boost, you don't want to be within that little window. Alright, so I got a little bit of silt fence section here. Left myself a little opening that'll berm and a little opening down there that'll berm for expansion. This will be an expansion area over here. I got room for 2 more rows here, 1 more row over there, and 2 more short rows in the back. So far it hasn't been looking too good out here, but it is trial and error at this point. I know what I can do to fix things going forward, and I have been rushing everything out here, trying to stuff it all in between working, and it's a 2-hour drive from my house to get here. But yeah, a lot of this soil that I put in here settled in really good, so I'm gonna have to refill all these little potholes that I dug out. The wind has been horrible and it hasn't stopped raining. It's rained out here every damn day. Same at the homestead. I've started staking some of these up that were really bent over. You can see how the wind is curving them all over. So I don't know if I'm gonna go through the trouble of putting up a trellis net out here, or if I'll just stake all of them and be done with it. I did put most of these in pots because of the hurry that I was in, and because my compost is way over there. Compost, mulch, manures, and all that stuff that I mix together. This thing is surrounded by a moat of swamp, which is why I built all this area up. So I couldn't get a dump truck to put it over here where it was reasonably close. So I had to take a 4-wheeler with a Tupperware bin through all of that water from over there and plant all of these. So pretty much in one day, a day and a half, no, it was pretty much a day, a full day, measured all of these out. Like I started measuring it out, laying it out, but I only did like this row and this row. All of that I did afterwards. So I came out here, dug all of these, transplanted all of them, moved all of that dirt back and forth. I was able to put 5 plants in with a 50 gallon tote. And then I just transplanted the rest of them into 3-gallon buckets over there, and then I was able to bring 8 of them over here at a time. And I wanted to do the buckets because I wasn't really sure on how the drainage was going to be out here yet. So as you can see, there is some standing water, even though this is elevated quite high over the rest of it. It's puddled up in a couple spots where it settled down. I didn't really have the time to roll all of this. I was able to grade it just in time before it started raining, and you can't really compact mush if you're familiar with that industry. Some of these plants over here are already waterlogged and done, so I'm not even going to try fixing those, unfortunately. When I come back in here to fix all of this in these drive rows, I'll probably tunnel these down a little bit and berm these up a little bit higher. Get rid of this and berm those up a little bit higher. And even on the next row, I'll probably do some bigger buckets than these, but I'll keep a good portion of them in buckets too, just in case. Again, just in case it's still not enough. It won't be a complete failure. But yeah, I got about 200 out here now. I was going to put double to triple that out here, but I think that I'm going to leave everything else at the homestead for the time being, just because I do have enough room for it now over there, and because they're small, it's a lot bringing them up here, and I still have a lot of work to do up here. I've just been trying to rush this, and it's not going to happen. I'm going to have to wait until the next dry season to pretty much wrap all this up here. These are already pre-flowering, so I'll just let them finish up. Here in Florida, we only get, down in South Florida especially, we don't get 14 hours. Not even it's like 13 hours and 48 minutes right now when we're at the peak of the summer solstice. So you put pretty much anything outside, photo period, and it's gonna, without supplemental light, it's gonna flower. So all of these are already probably about a week. They're gonna start turning, so I'll just let them finish up. And another thing too, if I would have planted all of these out here immediately, or had them outside and not in the greenhouse stacked up where they were so stretchy and top heavy, they probably would have built up a tolerance for this breeze and had a more stout bottom end. But because they were in the greenhouse with only a fan blowing on them, and they were stacked up against one another, they all stretched a lot and weren't blowing back and forth in the wind. You can see how the internodal spacing is on the bottoms on a lot of these, just super stretchy. And then now at the top, they're a little bit closer. So stuffing them all in the greenhouse isn't very ideal either. Like I said, I was just trying to stuff everything in and rush it to get this thing going out here, not realizing that I wasn't going to have as much free time as I thought that I was going to, which is dumb on my part. I always think that I'm going to have more time to do things, and something always comes up, and I'm always working out of town and stuff, so it makes it very difficult. But it is what it is. Everything at the homestead's looking really good, so at least we'll have a good harvest there. And now I know what I have here going forward. So next Friday I'm going to have my first agricultural inspection out here to go over everything. And once the rainy season's over and all of this drops down, even this pond, if you look at older videos, if I posted any up, that water level was down probably 2-3 foot from where it's at now, and that shoreline's grown probably 15-20 foot all the way around. There was no standing water all around this whole thing, so it's just been dumping out here and overwatering these plants. There's a lot of yellowing on them, a lot of clawed leaves. When it's sunny out, it does dry out pretty quickly, but it just dumps every day, usually around 3-4 o'clock and on. So there's not a lot of daylight time where it has time to dry out, because it rains, then the sun starts going down, then it just saturates in it, sits in it, marinates in it overnight, and gets a little bit of time in the sun the next day and then dumps on it again. So these in the pots are probably going to do a little bit better than the ones in the ground, but they're not looking too super either. I mean, they're so freaking heavy because they're all waterlogged, and yeah, it kind of sucks, but it is what it is. I was going to put these in all in 7-gallon buckets too. Luckily I only put them all in 3, so that way I was afraid that they were all going to dry out with me not being able to get up here enough to water them. And good thing I didn't put 7-gallon buckets in them, because they would have really drowned. At least in these, they have a chance to dry out a little bit quicker, not rot all the root hairs. But yeah, I just wanted to post that update, show one of my little new pets out here. It's been out here for probably not long after I finished digging the pond. I started seeing it out here on the regular, and there's another, like I said, a 4-footer that I know of. I don't know where it's at. It's around here somewhere. Now that all of that water is back there in the bush, they have more area to go hunting. There's not really any good ambush points in here because there's no grass or anything growing around except for on those edges. So unless a raccoon or something like that comes to the same spot on the regular, he doesn't really have a chance, or she, of getting anything in here. So, but it seems to be doing okay. It's definitely hungry. Wants me to feed him. Oh, he's hissing. So this is my lake. He doesn't know that it's my lake. He thinks it's his lake. I had to keep my head on a swivel too when I was putting in this silt fence because I was right there on the edge. And he's always right there watching, like he's sneaking up. All right, everyone. You have a good one. Happy Father's Day. See you on the next one.